What is up, guys? Quincy Carrier here, and I have a very, very, very special guest, JT O'Sullivan, former NFL quarterback. He's been in the league. He was in the league for a long time. He coaches football now, and he also has a very, very excellent YouTube channel. For those of you who are into football, watch my channel. Go ahead and check out JT. JT, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, Quincy, man. I appreciate the invite. This will be fun.
All right, so what we're going to do today is there's been a lot of talk, positive and negative, about one Baker Mayfield, very, very what they call it, polarizing figure in a world of sports, and he has a polarizing amount of interceptions. On Twitter has been, well, their interceptions aren't his fault, and then people are saying, well, 12 interceptions are 12 interceptions. So we're just going to look at the interceptions here, have JT kind of talk us through what's going on in these situations. He already did a great video on the San Francisco 49ers game, so we won't go over those interceptions, but we will go over all of the rest. So JT, you ready to go?
I'm ready, man. Hydrated, ready to hit it. Let's go.
All right, awesome. All right, so this is the first interception against the Tennessee Titans.
See, this is like watching it real time. I like this.
Let me know if you need me to pause.
No, I mean, I'm interested to hear just your take too. I mean, there's an element of scheme, play calling, then execution. Obviously, get hit with a little blitz, quarters, middle field close, and you just miss the throw.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like his decision making. I think people just get spoiled with how accurate he has been. If you're watching his college career, watch him last year with all the touchdown passes. NFL record for rookies, all those things, to see things not go as smoothly, obviously heightens concern. But I think it's a combination of things. It'll be fun to see each one of these here.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, he's under control. He sees what's going on. In my opinion, he just straight up misses this thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because I saw he brought in Chubb in the backfield there. That's a check at the line to kind of account for the pressure there.
I mean, it's impossible to know unless you're in the. You take it back to the start of the end zone for me there. Let's see exactly what he does. They could have any number of different things on right here. Mm-hmm. They still are only bringing 5 guys. I mean, they bring it into a 6-man protection here, but. I think the thing that's a little disconcerting for me is just his eyes here. It's quarters, and then at the snap they rotate, bring a 5-man blitz, but it's middle field close. He's looking right down the middle of the field. He knows exactly what he's doing. He just late getting back over to the throw and doesn't get lined up. And so it's the combination of trying to do too much and then just missing throws. There's just no way around it. You can't miss throws like that and be successful for a long time in the NFL.
Definitely. All right. So this is interception number 2, about 11:37 left. All these for 3rd and 4, ball 31 here. Yeah, he just hops it.
It's hard for me to see other than the fact that he makes a nice play. It's covered. You'd love to, not throw a contested ball, but those are throws that you got to make. It looks like just a little option route. A little behind him, mm-hmm. Guy makes a nice play.
That's not the one that got returned. Nah, he's just celebrating there. All right, this is the one. 3:11 left in the fourth quarter. The game's already over at this point. 36-13. I think this one gets returned for a touchdown here. Yeah, that's a bad throw. I think he threw that high and behind on the slant.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can do here. Can't let these things kind of snowball, and then this is how things really go south fast. Pick 6 the other way. Got to find a way to get a completion right here. If you're in the game, throw the check down, just put it on him.
Yeah.
It really looks like, from a macro standpoint, that it's one of those combinations of them trying to struggle to force feed certain guys and then just not being on the same page enough to be successful.
Yeah, and see, that one was a clean pocket too. So I don't know why though. Is there a reason? Is it just like sometimes just the ball comes out bad, or is it there like a reason footwork wise why he sell that one so bad?
He used to be around a dude. You see, if you remember, they got Brad Johnson. He won a Super Bowl for the Bucks. He used to always say, anytime he made a bad throw, he'd be like, "Hey man, I had a wet thumb." And it was like, you don't want a lot of wet thumbs, but like, you can't miss at any level. You can't miss that throw, right? Like that's a high school miss, can't miss. I just think that my thing about Baker Mayfield, the reason I like him so much, besides for the fact of the grit, the competitiveness, like the fire element of it, like he's crazy accurate up until, this little stretch here. He's been crazy accurate everywhere he's been. As a walk-on, he was crazy accurate. So, what the kind of spiral towards not doing that, I think is, I don't know if anybody has the answer. I'm buddies with Ryan Lindley. He's a San Diego dude, went to San Diego State where I worked for years. Like, I don't know if he's not going to have the answer. There is no answer other than the fact that you got to settle in and make some of these throws he's made for his entire life.
It's almost like a pitcher in baseball, where a guy can have his stuff for a while, and then just like for a half of a season, he just doesn't have his stuff until, he gets into a rhythm later on. Hopefully that's the case. This is the New York Jets game.
You don't want to wish like the knobblocks on anybody, but
as this one's fourth quarter, the game's about 23. So Browns are up by 20 at this point. Still throwing, yes, but let's see that one that gets tipped up, and see that's one of those ones where people are gonna blame it on the wide receiver, right?
Take it back one more time for me, please.
Yeah. I think that's a bad ball.
I mean,
go ahead.
I agree. It's not a perfect ball. I think fundamentally what you'd love to see there, just that drop. Okay. So anytime you take a 5-step drop from shotgun, that really means a 7-step drop under center. And he's really taking a 5+ drop here. You watch his mechanics, like it's just not sound. It's not something that you could do repeatedly, like fake 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, little quarter roll, bounce over there. Now you're late. Now you got somebody right in your face flashing. Like the timing of that is off. I would like to see him, if he's going to rip that in throw, to do the draw fake, take 5 and let it go. Like if you go back to the wide and pause it at the top of his drop. So one of the things that is a little trick to do as far as timing to watch how a quarterback is that their hitch at the back of their drop, hit pause and see where that throw is, because he should be able to come up and at the back of your drop, hitch and throw that thing. So one more right there. You got to rip that in. You got to let it go if you're going to throw that in. And if you're not, you got to turn it down to the number 2. That's the first read right there. So you can see where his eyes are with what the timing of the concepts is. And if there's nobody open, well, now we're talking concept, scheme, play calling. But if there are guys open, windows, timing, like let it go.
Spot. Oof.
Yeah, to me, that's late. It's sloppy footwork. It's accuracy. It's all sorts of bad. It's play calling, time of the game, protecting the play caller with decision making too. But it's all bad. And that's the thing about quarterbacking. It's never just the quarterback, right? It's always the play calling, the scheme, the O-line, the protection, the perimeter.
It's like a puzzle. You got to figure out a bunch of different elements of what goes on in this game. And this is the interception at the end of the Rams game, 4th and 5. Couple of things here to look at. We're first going to look at the interception. There was also controversy going on Twitter about a certain time where you can pause this play and see something too. First, we're going to talk about the interception. It's just back foot. He throws it in corner of the end zone. He has to
take it back one more time just so I can see the concept of what they're trying to do.
Yep. This good right here. You want me to go back further?
No, that's perfect.
All right. Looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not good if we're sitting here watching it and I can't tell what they're trying to do, scheme wise. So,
yeah,
obviously the throw, the mechanics of it. But it's 4th down. Like if you got to take you want him to throw it, right?
Yeah.
Like you want you to give your guy a chance. You don't want to eat it and take a sack. But at the same time, you would hope that there would be something better.
Now, mention you have to throw the ball here. Part of what was going on between some of the fans, between Browns fans, where they felt like at a certain point here, Baker could have had an easy lane to run this ball in, about right here, I think they were saying. Yeah, before he gets popped out by this right end, they felt like he had the space there. Do you think as a quarterback he's able to make that run there, or is this guy going to disengage and be able to take him down short of the?
I mean, that's almost, I would say, really, really impossible ask. If it's a pass play, straight up pass, you're going to have the quarterback's going to have his eyes down the field. He's not going to be looking at, running lanes or anything like that. Now, if you want to say, hey, it would be great to get a quarterback draw call there, absolutely. Look at those defenders at the bottom of the screen for the Rams. Yeah. They're obviously playing matchup coverage. You could easily walk in a draw. But again, that's winning with the clicker. That's not winning on Sundays. Those are all hypotheticals. I that's a tough ask to say, hey, just tuck in and run.
Yeah. And then it's tough throw to even make in the first place, and then he's trying to make it off his back foot going away.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a throw that you see. So, for instance, now comparing him to Aaron Rodgers isn't very fair, but Aaron made a throw similar to that on Sunday night where it was a bailout. Now, it wasn't a fourth down, but he was giving his guy a chance in the end zone, almost like a half throwaway, and something good happens, as opposed to something bad happening. Here, it's a fine line. Even those type of throws are practiced, and you got to learn to give your guy a chance and all those things. Like, I coach a high school team. We practice scramble drill and how to throw balls away, but also give guys a chance. So it's not like it's like something that, no one's ever thought of before. For me, a lot of that right there is concept. Like, I want to see, you got to have a better plan to attack that kind of match tight red zone coverage than just everybody gets covered and you're pissed that he didn't run it like that. That's unrealistic.
Definitely. All right. This is the one against Baltimore. I think this is a RPO that they try to run here. And some people, I think, thought that Jarvis gave up on the route here, but we'll watch the play.
One more time, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be brave to run a slant. There. I mean, that's a nice play by the safety too. One more time, and that's the thing about RPO world where you're going to fake and throw slants. You got to have an awareness. It's usually so. One more time, and pause it right at the snap, right when he's going to make that RPO read, right when they're kind of in that mesh point. So unless you're in the quarterback room, you don't know which guy they're reading. That's the thing about it. Sometimes zone read, it's the end. RPO world, it's often the backer, sometimes the safety. But again, let's just assume they're reading the one more down, the guy who's on the 45 right next to.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Tony
let's
Jefferson.
Just assume they're reading that guy. So you go to make that read where your eyes as the quarterback are staring right there. Well, what's that going to do to a middle field player? It's going to bring that guy right to him. So you got to have the capacity to get the ball up and down before that. And wide receivers know that. Like they're smart dudes. They know where the predators are, and the predators are in the middle of the field. So, it's one of those things where it needs to match the concept to the timing and all those things. I don't think it's ever as easy to say like, oh, he quit on the route. Yeah, he quit because he was going to get blasted. Like, I don't. It's not like a coward quit. It's you feel that purple heat coming at you right there. There's no and. I get it. Fans expect he gets paid to make those catches, but they get paid to just hand the ball off too. Like, just hand the ball off right here. There's nothing clean about that slant. We tell our most quarterbacks in the RPO world is just hand it off unless it's totally clean. Like, the throw is going to be a handoff. This throw is not going to be a handoff. This throw is going to be, you're trying to squeeze into a party right here.
Yeah. And then I noticed with Baker sometimes, it's kind of, it's not, I want to say it's MO, but since he has been so accurate throughout his career, he does have that confidence that sometimes he'll take one of these risks when he probably doesn't have to. But he also could fit one in there, theoretically, if, because he is so accurate at times.
Yeah, and I mean, he does fit this in, right? I mean, that's the thing about it. It still doesn't make it a good decision. And I think that's the thing, that when you start making bad decisions in the RPO world, bad things happen, as opposed to, even if it's not perfect, just hand it off.
Yeah.
You live to fight another day. Like, is there a hole there? Yeah, but that guy is hunting right there. That middle field player is coming downhill, bro.
Yeah.
Like, get out the way.
Definitely. See, the next one, this is what? San Francisco. We're going to jump past San Francisco.
Yeah, this was rough right there, too.
Yeah, this is bad. All right, so this is this is Seattle. They played both the NFC West teams back to back. This is what, second quarter, 147 left on the 2nd and 8. Ball's on the 10.
Yeah, this is brutal.
So protected, and it gets tipped right there, picked off.
But it's high and behind him, right?
Yeah, it's high and behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is an accuracy thing for me. I mean, this is it. You can't have a better thing called play action, shot at the post, middle field closed, middle field players on the other side of the hash. You got it. Like, this is you must hook this up. And now, there's somebody at his feet. It's not perfect, but, see it from the back end as far as what it looks like from his footwork mechanics wise. But he just misses his throw. I mean, and these are bad misses, right? In the red zone, these are magnified points. I mean, there's a push. There's no doubt there's a push. But, does the push affect the throw? I don't know. That seems like an excuse. I think he would say he's got to make that throw 99 out of 100 times.
Yeah, these are throws last year he was making.
These are throws that everybody in the league you have to make or you don't keep your job.
Yeah.
That's the reality. You miss throws like that. That's as clean as it gets. Now, there's no other way to do it. There's not a mechanical issue. There's not a decision-making thing issue. It's you got to be able to have the capacity to go back there and throw it. And they got to catch it, put it on them. It's just everything gets magnified in the red zone.
Yeah, and then that's a red zone interception right before halftime. Seattle, I think, gets the ball at half, and that kind of changes the game there, just not getting points out of that drive in a game that ended up being very close. This is what Sex was earlier on the game. I think I just had to jump back and record it later. But this is an empty set. It looks like the RPO again. Oh, no, a quick slant.
One more time. This looks like double stick to the boundary or double stick to the bottom of the screen, and then I'm not sure what he tries to throw up top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just slant flat up top. To me, one more time to the top of the play.
Yeah.
So to me, these are often, anytime you're in empty, usually they split the field in half for the read. So if you pause it right here, it's going to be middle field, usually how you would play double stick to the bottom of the screen. And what I mean by that is you're going to get a go at the bottom. You're going to get 2 outs by the number 2 and the number 3. And then up top, you're going to get a slant and a flat. So normally this would either be a man zone read. So zone, you would take the double stick to the bottom of the screen. Man, you'd go up top, or kind of an open closed read. And if it's open, you're going to take the double stick. If it's closed, you're going to take the slant flat. Now, you don't know how they're teaching it game plan this week, but no matter what, you couldn't be wrong. If you're playing quarterback, you come up to the line of scrimmage, the number 2 to the bottom of the screen, he's uncovered. There's nobody within 10 yards of him. You just catch it and throw it. That is the read. Any level of football, uncovered, catch it, throw it. So like sometimes when you try to do too much or stay too within the game plan, there's an element of just play ball. Like you see him open, throw it. Now you got to have the vision to be able to do that. And he does. That's the crazy thing. Like, that's why it's hard to be like, unless you're in the quarterback room and they're saying, Baker, you must throw it here. We're trying to do this. Nobody knows. And that's why it's so frustrating, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Watch it again there.
Yeah. I mean,
side.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of issues with that, and this is one of those plays. Unless you know exactly what's going on, nobody really knows. Unless you're in that quarterback room.
Now, this is one of the ones where I could see where a lot of people say this isn't on Mayfield here. This is 3 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. I believe he's going to try to hit his running back, who I think he's set up at the bottom of the screen here.
I mean, it's behind him. One more time. Yeah. I mean, it hits him in both hands, but, he's a running back for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a, I'm sure he would say, I'd love to be more accurate with that throw. And the running back would say, hey, I got to make that play. And there's no doubt about it. You hit him in two hands and the ball bounces up. It's not all on the quarterback, but could he be more accurate? Is he more accurate normally? Yeah, he really is. It just, it's a tough ask. Again, these are things where you see the issues when you see concept married to personnel doing things that guys that aren't normally doing it. And it's one thing, you see the Patriots out there, they're throwing everything to their running backs, or the Packers throwing everything to their running backs. And it's great when it works, but when it doesn't work, you look like, why are you trying to do that? Like, we got all these great wide receivers.
All right,
I get it.
This is probably the most infamous interception of them all. This is that shovel pass interception against the Patriots.
I mean, really, you think it's the most infamous one?
It's as far as I think, these people kind of ran away with this one, kind of being like a joke, or making it a meme of sorts on Twitter. I think this has probably been the one people have had the most fun with. I don't really think this is on him as much as it is the breakdown that happens here on the offensive line. But I don't know what the rules are for this play.
I mean, there is no read on this play. This is catch and underhand flip it. I mean, he's not playing left guard. I think, to me, this is, again, and this is me being hypercritical of the play calling, the scheme. If you go back and watch that from the tight, which offensive lineman pulls? It's the tackle, right?
Yeah. And it looks like,
now, to me, it should be the guard in this front. Mm-hmm. And so if the guard pulls and you just block the end with the tackle, this play looks great. Mm-hmm. But because you try to get tricky and do a tackle pull, the guard can't get there, and it's a disaster.
Yeah,
that's scheme, right?
I want to ask, because I was wondering if this was because Batonio, the whole play up until like 2 seconds left on play clock, he's looking over like this while everybody else is set. And it's like, once he pulls, there's no way on earth Batonio was going to be able to block Guy here, because his feet are cut off by the pull. Like, what's he going to do?
I mean, he's looking backwards for the snap, right? For the indicator from the center. But I totally agree. This should be the design of this play is cause the interception. Now, does it go on the coordinator or the offensive line coach if they're designing this to get the interception? No, it goes on Baker's stat sheet, right? But this is not on the quarterback. There is no read. You can't turn it down. You can't not throw it. You're going to pitch it before this happens. This is all scheme, bro. Yeah. Like, you can't run this play versus that front. And then the other part about it is, if you only can run it versus one front, you got to have a check or something to get out of it if it's not the perfect front. Like, that's not revolutionary. That's how every teams do these kind of trick 'em plays. Mm-hmm. It's all bad. But
I would think as a quarterback, he would have to just trust it and toss that in there without,
Yeah, there is no read. I mean, you just catch and toss it. Like, if anything, you think, oh, it's a pass, it won't be a fumble, it'll get knocked down. You never think that it'll get picked.
Yeah.
I mean, but to me, this is a huge example of scheme. Like, this is how people get fired. Like, legit, you get fired for plays like this because they're simple fixes, but if you don't take care of it, you become a clown show. And that's what it feels like, for what's going on over there, as far as, it just being expectations being so high, and then things just imploding around them. And then you get clown plays like this, and now it's a meme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seems like, as we went through there has been some issues with Baker. There has been some bad decision making, but it seems like a constant thing, especially when it comes to critical parts of the field and critical parts of the game, you have been critical of the scheme. So is that what you feel like is the issue there? Or is it, what do you feel like is probably, I don't want to say the sole issue, but what do you feel like is slowing this team's momentum down, or slowing down Baker Mayfield? Or what is it, him himself? Is it the line? Is it from the coaching?
I mean, this is going to be not a great answer, right? Because it's not as simple as saying, hey, it's Baker's accuracy or it's play calling. It's all those things. Like, that's why it's so hard. That's why some organizations are successful for so long, because they have systems and processes in place to not put themselves in these positions. So you're looking at an organization that's all in on its perimeter. They go get big name players. They got to force feed them the ball. They got to find ways to get them the ball. Well, now all of a sudden you're trying to do too much, asking a quarterback who might not have matured enough to be able to process all of this and be able to still play at a really high level, fundamentally as accurate as he always is, because now he's trying to force things in or do new things that he's not comfortable with. And it's all of those things coming together and it being like a disaster in the most important time, right? Like before half in the red zone. And now it compounds with accuracy issues. And then tip balls. You got guys playing volleyball out there, like dropping balls, not making tough catches, where you look across the league and some of these guys, they get paid to catch the ball too. Like go make a tough catch, like run across the middle. All those things, I think when they're combined, it looks like a dumpster fire. And right now it's got a touch of dumpster fire. Now, how I think you get around that is you go back to what made him successful for a really long time. He's accurate. Get the ball out of his hands quickly, let him get into a rhythm and get all those things. And the distribution, the point guard element, that will come. Like let it come naturally. And then when you get in the red area, as opposed to making him bang slants, which aren't really what I would, or bang posts, aren't necessarily what I think Baker does really well. I think you get into spreading him out, letting him use his vision, throwing back shoulder balls, giving guys chances with touch and accuracy, as opposed to big guy throw, play action, stand in middle of pocket, throw, post. That's not what I think of him. That's what I think of, like a 6'6" Joe Flacco type guy in the red zone. I want to see it spread out. I want to see him using his vision, his accuracy, his distribution, tempo, all of those things, screen some people, as opposed to, trying to chunk things or force things into certain guys. I think that, and then all those things together, and now it's a cocktail of chaos and everything feels terrible, but it's compounded again because you had such high expectations for for having a decent season last year. Not a good season, a great season, just a better than it has been season. And this is what happens. This is the output.
Yeah. So do you, because I wouldn't know if these things are fixable within a season. Are these things that are fixable within a season? Like, is it something that is just going, like, it's just something that's adjustable that they can get over?
So. I think it's so. I don't think that they have a track record that have proven they can do that. I think it doesn't, I think NFL teams can go in certain directions. The good organizations get better and better as the season goes on, right? Like you hear the Patriots talk about season doesn't start till after Thanksgiving. Well, a lot of organizations don't have that privilege. They need to get better every single week. So do you see the Browns getting better every single week? Like, are they getting better this week, next week? And so I think everyone can tell that that's not happening, at the moment. So can they right the ship to not take huge steps? But if you get better every week, then all of a sudden at the end of the year, you might have a chance in the playoffs. You might be the hot team that nobody wants to play. So is it fixable? Sure. They have a bunch of dynamic dudes. Like I would love to be in the huddle with a lot of that talent, but that doesn't mean that it's, that it's easy, that it's just like, flipping the ball and let him do what he does. Like there's a lot of massaging relationships, a lot of egos, lots of everything magnified by expectations. So to me, it's totally fixable, but is it an easy lift? No. Do you know what you have with a first-time head coach? No. But like that doesn't mean that he's not the guy for the job. That doesn't mean that Baker can't step in that huddle and demand respect and earn it. It doesn't matter what his vibe is, his kind of fire, passion. You got to play well. Like you got to play well. And so, yeah, he can go out there and do it. He's a great football player. I have high expectations for him still. Have things changed and they haven't gone the way that everybody wants in Cleveland, but I'd still take that team. Like that's a great nucleus. They need to come together and get better. That's the thing about it for me is I want to see some significant improvement on an upward trajectory quickly.
And then, since you have spent a lot of time in NFL locker rooms, when the play has been like this from the quarterback position, is it harder for him to lead? Is it going to be harder for him to be able to, especially when you have very accomplished guys like Jarvis Landry and, Odell Beckham on that offense? Is it harder for him to be able to commute? Like, does communication from that position become harder when you've thrown all of these interceptions?
Yeah, the answer is yes. You lose also a bunch of idiosyncratic credit if you don't play well. You need to play well to have that kind of presence, demand that kind of accountability from your different, especially when you're standing on a podium talking about discipline, accountability. Like the tape doesn't lie. Like, you can't talk out the side of your mouth. Like, we all see it. Everybody's aware of how the quarterback is playing, but everybody in the building probably has a better understanding of how the whole offense impacts that performance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, those wide receivers are pros. Like, I don't know any of those cats, but I would want them on my team. They know how to compete. They've done it at a high level. But most good wide receivers want the ball, demand the ball. Like, those are all fine things. But you got to go out there and you got to play well every single day in practice, in every drill, in every rep. All those things kind of compound to be like, yeah, this is our dude. And I think people still think everybody knows that he's a special talent, but it doesn't matter what he's done, right? Like, that's the beautiful thing about the league. Like, it legit doesn't matter. It just matters what you're going to do this week, bro, because everybody's going to have to look each other in the face in the locker room. And I'm going to know if you turtled, if you turned it down, if you didn't try as hard as you're supposed to try, what your effort looked like in the week. Like, all those things are obvious to people in the locker room. You cannot fake that stuff. So, we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't bet against him. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't bet against him.
Definitely. And then when you have plays like this one that we talked about with the Patriots, where it just seems like just like a odd way to scheme up that play, does that start to become a bigger issue with the players from a coaching standpoint? Like, does this kind of thing, this kind of embarrassing interception, are these the kind of things that could start mutinies in locker rooms or things like that?
I mean, I don't know about a mutiny. I'll be honest with you. I don't think now maybe the quarterbacks would have an understanding of what caused that, but even offensive linemen don't necessarily understand that, hey, if this guy would have pulled instead of that guy, this could have really made this play that much safer. You know what I mean? Or they very few offensive linemen, not all of them, forgive me, offensive line friends, people, but like, it's hard to have a connection for the offensive line patterns that they're blocking tethered to the run game. Very few people in the building will understand how that kind of works together. But when you watch that, I think common sense, intuition would tell you, hey, bro, like, if the other guy pulls, this would have been way better. Like, that type of stuff, when it's so obvious, yeah, we're going to get issues. Like, this is legit. I'm not joking. That's how people get fired in the league. Like, you see, like, the Chargers fire their offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. People don't know why. Like, people get for a lot less than that type of throw. So, yeah, it can start issues. I mean, it's one of those things where the guys who have been around it a little bit more probably are like, that was really, really poorly designed or poorly executed. Like, we're better than that, and I think they are better than that. And it's someone in that building is taking the heat for that. I'm telling you, someone is. So who knows who it is, but it's probably the O-line coach if I had to bet.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have had a lot of fun here looking at all of these interceptions. JT, tell them where to find you at. Make sure they can go ahead and subscribe and find all of your ventures.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm trying to spend as much time as I can on YouTube. The QB School is the channel. Try to push out some good content. Try to have fun with it. Try to go a little bit deeper than the normal kind of TV analysis type stuff. So that's where I'm spending my time, really enjoying it. So I appreciate y'all getting over there, supporting the channel.
It is a really great channel. I watch it all the time, learn so much. It's also made me better at Madden. But it's just interesting to be able to learn the game. And then, when I go to a game, I normally sit up high. So it's like I could be able to apply what I learned too. So just pleasure finding your channel. Hope everybody on my channel jumps to your channel. And I think your channel is going to really grow because this is really high quality stuff there. But JT, thank you for coming on. This is a treat for me. This is a treat for Browns fans. And before we sign off, do you have any kind of final take that you want to, go say before you sign off?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Browns fan, I'll be honest with you, I'm still excited. Like, I would love to have Baker Mayfield. If I'm a GM, if I'm a head coach, if I'm a quarterbacks coach, coordinator, I think he's an excellent player. I think it's, like anything, it's going to take a little bit of time, growing pains, whatever, excuses, whatever. He's a better player than he's shown. So I think I wouldn't bet against him coming out, having a great second half, and turning this thing into, why he got so much better, so much faster. All right, JT, thank you for coming on. Again, appreciate it so much. All right, dude.